Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So in a previous video, I broke down a fight between a Wing Chun fighter and a Muay Thai fighter. I did this because I practice both Wing Chun and Muay Thai. I like them both. And as I said in that video, and I will consistently say going forward, I think the mechanics of Wing Chun are really good. I think they are solid. And personally, every time I have seen Wing Chun fail in a fight, it's because someone has prioritized the flowery BS around Wing Chun rather than the actual core mechanics of it. I think the mechanics are solid, and if you can incorporate them into your fighting style, I think you can go really far. Now, this being the case, I follow a lot of combat sports and martial art groups online. One of the places that I follow is a page on Instagram called Wing Chun Students. If you take away the narcissistical side of things, there is realistically only two reasons why you post a video of this kind of thing online. The first one is you are a pro, or you think you are a pro or very good at it, and you are trying to help people who are getting into it. When I started this channel, it was based around archery. It's still based around archery, and it was to show my journey in archery. I wanted to show the new things that I was learning. I wanted to discover this new archery world and share my discoveries with people so that we could learn and grow together. I haven't been able to upload consistently, so I have failed in that miserably. There is massive chunks of my learning curve that are missed, but that's the world. You know, you make a plan and then life gets in the way. But yes, there's one of two reasons why you put stuff online. One of it is to say, hey, I am a professional at this and I am trying to help other people. This is what works for me. Maybe you should try this. The second reason is you're brand new and you're coming into this area saying, look, I'm really new at this. I'm very green at this. This is what I'm working with. Make me better. Both of those are incredibly valid. And most of the time, those are respected. This page on Instagram, I think, is the former. I think this guy, and I don't know for certain, but I think this guy is a teacher or is very high up in his group. And that kind of concerns me. Now, I do want to preference this. I do not have enough information and I can't gather enough information to say definitively, but this is what I'm seeing as I'm going through his Instagram. And I want to share that with you because, oh hot damn, oh hot damn. Okay, so these video clips are all in the same kind of format. They're very, very quick and then they repeat at much slower, which I don't think is needed. Again, I would love to talk to this guy and work out the editing because editing kind of annoys me now. That's the problem when you start learning about stuff. But this is the last video that was uploaded at time of recording. Now, Wing Chun, you want to stand face on to your opponent. Okay, you kind of want to be squared up. You want to be very relaxed. Neither one of them has a Wing Chun stance. And again, this is something that makes me wonder if this guy is actually a teacher or if he is just a student. But none of this is Wing Chun. I will keep saying that throughout this video, especially when he's actually sparring with people. None of it looks like Wing Chun. Well, certainly not any Wing Chun that I've seen or practiced. His stance is more like a boxer's stance. And I realize by saying that, a lot of people who actually do practice boxing, whether it's recreational, whether it's professional fighting, I realize you guys are going to get annoyed at that because it's a bad stance. But that's what it's more like. It's more like he's trying to be a boxer, make himself as small a target as he possibly can. But in Wing Chun, that doesn't work. Because in Wing Chun, you need to be able to use both hands. This is the typical Wing Chun punch. Punch, down, place, down, place, down, place, down. And it all comes from the center line. In Wing Chun, the mechanic of the punch is that it explodes from your gut. Down, up, down. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing big wide swoops, which again, wide swoops have their place in martial arts teachings. And it's usually the trainer teaching the trainee how to duck and dodge and do slips and everything else. But the student, the guy wearing the trackies in this video, again, he's not got a Wing Chun stance. I think his stance is actually better than the teacher in this video, but it's clear to me that he's not been taught how to actually block. Again, you get a round punch like that, your arm should go up. Now, typically in Wing Chun, when you're face on with someone and they throw a punch, you want to cross their arm. So if I'm throwing a punch to the camera, you want your arm going there to push it and push it into me. If my arm is crossed here, you've then got a free arm, again using the Wing Chun mechanic, to explode and come up, crack me right there, or somewhere around there. But like the teacher in this scenario is not doing any of that. He's not in that position. The student clearly hasn't been taught that. He hasn't learned how to deal with those. And I'm confused about this whole thing. There's no real information in the description. I want more information about this, because just looking at this, it looks like children fighting. Okay, so I saw this one the other day, and this is what actually started me thinking more about this channel, more about this page. So I decided to have a deeper look rather than just scrolling through Instagram. Now in this, the teacher here is overwhelming his opponent. I like that. You can do a lot with that. I don't know if this is just a sparring match where they're just, just going for it, or if this is actually meant to be a lesson. But look at his legs. Look at the teacher's legs in this. He's dragging his legs. You never drag your leg. Ideally, you want to keep your legs just outside your pelvis line. You want to keep your legs in line with your shoulders. You move forward, you got to throw a jab. That little bit, your left shoulder's moved a little bit, your left foot should move a little bit. That's not what's going on here. This guy's footwork is all over the place. My first lesson with Wing Chun, I spent at least half an hour shifting my weight from foot to foot, facing different walls. The idea of that was not, hey, here's the new guy, let's take the piss. The idea of that was to make me conscious of where my weight is on my feet, of how to move my feet and to reposition. None of that is in this whatsoever. Now, the guy who's in trackies in this, he's being overwhelmed. I wouldn't think he's been training that much. He doesn't look particularly worried. Obviously, if you get a fist coming towards your face, you're going to make a silly face. We're human beings. That's what happens. But certainly, I'm not seeing him use that balance, though. His balance does look to be better than the teacher's here, because it's just not a good stance from the teacher. And then again, we go back up to what he's doing with his fists. These are wide swipes. These aren't controlled. Wing Chun is not random, wild swipes. It is control. The whole thing is meticulous. There is a reason why we have each individual movement. This is not Wing Chun. I expect to see children fighting this way, not in a martial arts class. Okay, so I saw this video, and this is what makes me think that the guy is a teacher or is quite high up, because he seems to be at the front of the class. But you see, my problem with this, while on the surface, the shallow look of this is absolutely fine. When you start breaking it down, the footwork is horrendous. If I'm fighting a guy and he's given me that footwork, I'm not concerned about those punches at all. Instead, my foot is going to do one of two things. Either I'm going to get between his legs and sweep the other one, putting him on his backside, or my foot is going straight up between those legs, because there is absolutely no defense. His balance is completely off. You cannot have good balance like that. You might feel fine, but as soon as you add a foreign element, like someone trying to punch you, you're going over. That's it. You can't put in a lot of power from doing that. It has to explode from the core. And if you're exploding from the core with your feet that far apart in those particular angles, you're taking away all the power. Don't understand any of this. I wish he put more in his description. This is bad. This is bad. Okay, so this one I actually do kind of like. Okay, I wish the video was centered a little bit lower so we could see more of what his legs were doing. This seems like very traditional sort of Wing Chun. You can see his legs coming up. That first instance kind of looks like a teep, or at the very least something that you would do. You'd put your foot up to get ready to kick someone else's knee. And a teep, for everyone who doesn't know, essentially you're kicking someone's lower belly. A really good teep will take the wind out of someone. My teeps definitely need a lot of work. But you know, it's a very, very useful thing to use if you're going to use kicks in your fighting style. So yeah, I've got no real issues with this. I just wish I could see more, and I wish the video went on for longer. Other than that, this actually I don't have a problem with. You know, the movements are what you would expect. While they seem very soft, they are legitimate, and they could be very useful in a fight if you actually do practice these and keep to the things that actually work in this particular martial arts. Okay, so this one isn't actually that bad either. Like, he's swinging way too much. There's way too much of that swinging. Okay, in films, in movies, you'll see swinging because it looks good on camera. The problem is, and you can see this because of how I've got the camera set up. So we're fighting and I swing round. You've got all this time to react. And this is actually something that Wing Chun exploits beautifully, because while I've come around, you have either blocked and come in with your own strike, or you've done something called a paksao, where again, you aim for that part of the elbow, push it in to deflect. And they seem to favor these wide sweeps. Now, the little backhand taps, little backhand strikes that he's doing, I actually like. Okay, and the reason why I like them is because this seems like sparring more than anything else. And sparring, you're not going in to break the opponent's nose. Okay, the best sparring match, both people in that match will get something useful from what they're doing. You want to land a few hits, you want some of your hits to be blocked so that you can know and learn how to react to that, and you want the other guy to throw in a few hits and to block a few of his. You know, a good sparring match, both participants get something valuable from it. So, you know, you don't want to necessarily go in straight away. So a little snap the back of the hand, that's a good way of making sure you're not putting a lot of power into your strikes. For sparring, really good. Okay, this one I need help with. Because this one I can't actually tell. I think the guy's kicking with his feet. Now, when I kick in Wing Chun, I don't kick like that. Ever. And Muay Thai, if you kick like that, you're going to break your foot. You don't realistically want to be kicking with your feet. This is not a football match. When I use my feet for kicks, they're to shut down someone else's, or to shut down someone else's movement. So my foot wants to go into someone's leg. Or if that's the knee and that's just above the knee, that's the thigh, I want to kick there because that shuts down someone's kick. You control the knees, you control the elbows, you control the person. So this kind of looks dangerous to me because this is training to do kicks with your feet. Every time someone has kicked me with their foot, it has hurt them a hell of a lot more than it's hurt me. It's barely hurt me, but it's really hurt them. You want to kick with your shins. Realistically, you know, it's a much stronger bone density in your shins. It's a lot easier to do that kind of conditioning. So this kind of thing, it's kind of impressive, and he's got good speed with it, but I don't like it. Okay, this one is interesting. This one I really actually like. I do. I really like this video. I think this one, they're both doing really well. Especially with the teacher in this one. You can see he throws out one and then he cocks his elbow. Master Wong on YouTube does this brilliant technique where he will try to not necessarily catch, but essentially catch your punch with his elbow. So you throw in the punch, he's got his elbow blocked, so that you punch that. You punch that, it's going to hurt you a hell of a lot. Like, you punch my elbow, I'm fine. You might have broken your hand. So even though this guy is not doing that and he's just cocking the elbow, there is a high chance of that happening anyway. So I like seeing that. It seems like they're keeping to the form here, which when you're starting is important. As I said in the last video, you don't necessarily want to keep to the form the whole time as long as you've got the mechanics. But this I do really like. Now typically when you do this kind of thing, you'll be closer to the fact that your forearm will be touching the other person's forearm. Reason for that's very simple. If we're in that kind of lockup, you'll be able to feel every movement that I do. As something of a display purpose, a lot of times when you go to these demonstrations and you see this, a lot of the people will be blindfolded. It's more impressive. Look, they're doing it without seeing. It's easier to do it blindfolded. You know, when you've got your sight, you might get too distracted by trying to see the person when you'll feel them. Like, you feel their body move before they actually move. I hope that made sense. I don't think it did, but I hope it made sense. But yeah, this video I actually really like. I really like this video. It's a short one. Again, wish it went on a little bit longer, but this is one of the few that I think is really good. And this is kind of what I want to see from this guy. All right, so this guy, I've seen this a lot. This heavyset guy with the blue belt. In none of the videos that I've seen does this guy look like he's having a good time. Now, look, full disclosure, if you see me in Muay Thai, the first half hour, I look pissed off. First hour, I don't really talk to people because I'm catching my breath. But I enjoy it, and I make it very clear I hate that first 30 minutes. Doing the warm-ups, I absolutely hate the warm-ups. But I like the bag work, and even though pads just take all the energy out of me and my weak ankle can give away, I still enjoy it. This guy doesn't look like he's enjoying it, and the teacher here just looks like he's punishing him. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You don't go to these kind of classes to be punished. Okay, this is one of two pad videos that I really wanted to show, because this to me shows problems. Shows a lot of problems. Now, all right, the teacher is just watching this, but nothing about this is good. Nothing about this is good. First and foremost, the guy holding the pad. If you hold a pad like that and someone hits it properly, you've just broken your nose. That's it. You're done. You've broken your nose. You've lost some of your teeth. Nothing about how this guy is holding a pad is right. You do not stand like that at all. It's wrong. Point blank, it's wrong. You know, it's a lot of people say in archery there's an extreme right way of doing things, there's an extreme wrong way of doing things. Most people are in the middle. As long as you're not extreme wrong, you're absolutely fine. Just enjoy it. This is extreme wrong. Okay? This is not how you do pad work. And then for the guy who's actually doing these strikes, those kicks, he's kicking with his toes. At least one of those is kicked with his toes. You kick someone with a toe, you've broken your toe. You're in a fight with someone, which is a stressful environment. You know, again, this is why people train for fights, because it's stressful. You have to put yourself in stressful positions to be less stressful going forward. But you're in a stressful position, you throw out that kind of kick. One of two results. First one, it's weak and pathetic and you're going to get your head knocked off. Second, you've actually put power behind it and you've just broken your bloody toe. It's pathetic. The stance I don't particularly like. I think his arms are too close in. Again, typical Wing Chun stance. For the arms, you want to be like that. Boom, 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 kind of want to go like that. So you can push away someone's incoming attack and then throw out a punch. Boom, 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 boom. That's not what this guy is doing. I do like the end, that quick little boom, 1-2. But you can show there's no power behind it. You can see there is no power behind it because the guy who's holding the pad wrong hasn't got the pad at the other side of his head. If there was any power behind it, even the guy in the background, with just that one, like he's not even trying. When you hold pads, you should feel the pressure. Okay, when someone comes in to punch, you should feel the need, if you're holding the pad, to put that little bit in. To put that little bit in. Because if you don't, they're not hitting you right. When it comes to kicks, you need to proper lock in those pads. Because if you don't, they're kicking through you. And if they're not training to kick through you, they're not training correctly. Christ. The guy in the background, is he smiling? Is he actually smiling at this? That is... Oh. Okay, so as I said in the last bit... Okay, so first and foremost, that's not how you should be holding the pad. Now, I get it if you've got a big class or maybe you haven't got a lot of money to get fully set up. You haven't got enough pads to do double. You know, you should have one pad on one arm, one pad on the other. But I understand if you haven't got that. So you work with what you've got, which is absolutely fine. Okay, that's not where my critique is. But point blank, he should not be stood like that. If a guy is stood like that, a guy holding the pad is stood like that, reacting like that, this woman is showing that she has absolutely no power in these strikes. That's not her fault. That's the fault of the teacher. When I'm striking pads, again, to go back to the other day when I was working pads with one of the guys in my local club, he kept telling me, no, you're stepping out, step in. You can hit harder than that. So push through. Don't just jab with your right, throw it through. That guy couldn't have stood like that. I don't think I hit particularly hard. I'm pretty sure I don't hit particularly hard. But he would not have been able to stand like that. At no point is that acceptable. Because that means this woman is not throwing in any real power whatsoever. Those elbows are pathetic. They are absolutely pathetic. That little 1-2. No, okay, so that's the very rough mechanic of Wing Chun, but it is awful. There's no power there whatsoever. There's nothing there. It is disgraceful. Those knees are terrible. Okay, when you throw up a knee, you want to push your hip out just that little bit. Just that little. Whee! You can't see here because I'm sitting down. But the knee is horrendous. Does she kick? Are we seeing kicks? No, okay, so these are just knees, a left elbow, right elbow. There's no blocking when she throws out the elbows. Here's the thing. When I throw out an elbow and I don't block, I get called out for it. If I'm working pads with the guy who's teaching and I don't block, he hits me with a pad. Doesn't take my head off, but you block. You keep your arms up. In Muay Thai, the reason why you practice throwing your knees up with your hands up in the air is because this is meant to be in a clench. My hands are up, simulating grabbing someone around the back of their head. And that's not really what she's doing. They're just up. This is bad on every single level. Every single level. The elbows have absolutely nothing to them. She's twisting, but when you throw an elbow, you want to throw it like a hook. Okay? You hook the punch, you hook the elbow. You don't just throw out. No, that's a warm-up exercise. That's all that is. That's just a warm-up exercise. You throw it in. But she's not doing that because she's not been taught to do that. She has essentially been taught to fail. I think that's taken years off my life. Okay, so look, I am by no means an expert, but I've done a lot of things wrong, and I have suffered because I've done them the wrong way. There are things on this page that I do actually like, but when it comes to sparring with people, when it comes to the pad work, I'm seeing so many red flags. I'm worried that this guy is actually a teacher and that he's teaching people how to fight this way. Now, if it's just exercise, and I do want to stress this, if it's just for exercise, then it's fine. It's not good. It's not good, but it's fine because it's just for exercise. It's just for, keeping mobile and everything else. But if this is seriously for self-defense, for combat or anything like that, no, this is not okay. This is not remotely acceptable. The pad work is awful. At no point any of those guys holding the pads should have been able to stand the way that they were standing. It shows that the person hitting the pads was not able to put any power into them whatsoever. If you can't put power into a pad, you can't put power behind your punches, your kicks, your strikes into your opponent. So when it comes to that woman as an example, and maybe she gets attacked, okay, the area that I live in, that's happened quite a bit recently. So she goes in to throw those weak, pathetic elbows. She'll get clobbered and be another name in the paper. Again, I don't want you guys to send any hate. I don't want any hate going towards Wing Chun students. But I do want to talk to this guy because I have serious issues with what's being taught and how it's being taught. It's just not good. But there it is. I hope this long-ass video was mildly entertaining. It is now 2 minutes past 2 a.m. and I have not done anything that I actually needed to get done. So things may get put off for another day or so. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Links for stuff are down below. Enjoy your days, guys. Keep safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.